Now, having looked at the manner we looked at the Island Council, you know, that body that is the creature of the Local Government Act. And Island Councils are the creatures of the Local Government Act, the act that establishes them, set up their procedures, and define their functions. So Island Councils have 12 functions under the Act, and the functions range from agriculture, livestock, fisheries to village planning, education, forestry, relief and famine, drought, public health, right down to trade and industry. So it's a very powerful body on paper, but in practice, you know, it was that informal elders conference or council that has more power and more sway over it. The Act also provides for the councillors from each village ward to be elected, and since 2006, you know, the election of councillors have been sort of changed to align with the kind of national procedures for the elections of our members of parliament. So to become a councillor, one needs to get 50% or over of the total votes cast. And for the election of the mayor, he has to be elected island-wide, you know, by popular vote. I find it interesting that in a country paper to the Commonwealth Local Government Forum meeting in the Bahamas last year, the Minister for Local Government listed the challenge of local government in Kiribati as poor respect by their local community. I think he was referring here to the fact that although the council has got defined powers under the law, it's really the elders who are, in most cases, making the decision and calling the shots at island level. Now, I would like to end by looking at an instance in one of the islands in Kiribati last year, where the council and the Council of Elders, you know, came to a head-on conflict. The conflict occurred when it started off as a dispute between the council clerk and the mayor and the majority of the members of the council. The Ueantabo were involved later when the clerk came and asked for their assistance to be the mediator in the conflict. But when the most senior Ueantabo tried to play his role as a mediator, he was shut out by the council on the grounds that they can't talk to him because there is already a representative of the elders in the council, so there is no need for another elder to come and talk to them. So the elder went back, called a meeting of all the elders, and declared war on the council. The next day, councillors were asked to resign their seats, and if they failed to comply with the order, they will face the full brunt of the punishment usually meted out by the Ueantabo, with this destruction of property by fire, social exclusion, and banishment from the island. All the councillors resigned immediately except for the mayor. Except for the mayor who took the council to court and requested the High Court to declare, to make a declaration that for the council to demand the resignation of duly elected councillors, or to declare the dissolution of the Mainland Council were not proper under the law, were unlawful acts. He also asked the court to make a declaration on a number of issues, and one of them was, 5 of those issues were to do with inaction by the government through its Ministry of Internal and Social Affairs for taking action as requested by the council. Now, on hearing the case, the Chief Justice, an Australian Honourable Milhouse QC, observed that the problems are both political as well as legal, and is not competent to make a declaration on the political side of the issues. So we confined him to declaring that the dissolution of the council by the Council of Elders is not lawful. And he did not want to comment or make declaration on the other issues which relate to the inaction or the lack of decisive action by the ministry to prevent the dissolution of the council by the elders. I want to argue that the lack of decisive action by the Ministry of Internal and Social Affairs typifies the general attitude and approach taken by successive governments of Kiribati in relation to this issue of the relationship between the Nimani, the traditional leaders, and the Island Council. And there seems to be a general reluctance on the part of government to effectively seek the resolution of this long-standing issue. Looking back at the kind of developments that we've done, that we had in the area of local government, they've come very slowly and within long intervals of years. Initially, when in the 1980s, straight after independence, when there was a major review of local government, there was a local government commission which did a referendum on what the shape of local government should be, and there was an interest in bringing back the Nimani to be part of the local government structure. The finding of the referendum at the time was that it's good to leave them as they are outside the formal structure, because the conflict between the council and the elders is sort of healthy for the system. But after the incidents on Mayana, they also argued that it was a check on the abuse of power by the council. But look, going back to that issue, the incidents on Mayana, it's not a check on the abuse of official power, but rather a showdown and a demonstration of the power of the Nimani over the council. And this is very evident too in the court case, when the senior Ulimani, the senior elder, was taken to court by the mayor as representative of the Council of Elders. He said that the council have decided on what to do to the council. The elders have decided, make a decision, and they won't change it. They've dissolved the council and decided that councillors can't stand for 4 years. He also made a point that the elders does not recognize the laws of Kiribati, nor the constitution of Kiribati. But what I found interesting, and don't quote me on this, is that that old man, during the course of the court case, was staying with the president. So whether the president put those words in his mouth, I don't know. But it's interesting that despite what they said and about the elders being above the law, the government hastily organized a workshop on local government to which they invited all the elders from all the islands. And all the elders that attended that workshop recognized that even the elders are under the law, and they are not above the law, and they should know how to act within the law of the country, the law of the land. So, it makes that, it's not a common stand by elders. The elders know the limit of their powers under the law. That was a special case. So as I said before, the changes in trying to incorporate the elders into the system have come very slowly in Kiribati. It was only in 1995 when the elders were recognized as a decision-making body that can contribute to local government. And an amendment was made in 1995 which provides for the representative of the elders to be included in the Island Council as a special member, not a nominated member, but a special member. Now, the interesting thing about that was when that legislation was introduced, that special member has voting rights in the council. Then in 2006, that voting right was withdrawn. And the minister at the time, in a debate in Parliament, explained that the reason why they didn't allow the Lumane to vote in council was that they protect him from a possible legal suit if the council made a decision that is unpopular with the people and the whole council is taken to court. Because he was not part of the decision, he's saved from that. So they were protecting him. So he said, I put an exclamation mark. But that was in 1995, and 2006 was another change. In 2009, another attempt was made to bring the Lumane back to local governance, and this time, another amendment bill was made to amend the Local Government Act. And this time, to add the provision that in exercising his powers to establish or dissolve a council, and in the use of his emergency powers, the minister is required to consult with the Council of Elders. Now, this amendment was very interesting. In his first reading, it attracted the bipartisan support of the Parliament, of the House. And the strong support from both sides of the House. The bill, by the way, was introduced by that tennis-playing classmate of yours, Mr. Deborah Rosito, who was our former president. This was his amendment. And because of the support from both sides of the House, the government took a lot of encouragement in moving forward with the issue of the Lumane and the Island Council. That they did a lot of amendment on Mr. Deborah's amendment. As a result, Deborah withdrew his amendment on the grounds that his amendment has been amended substantially, considerably, to the extent that he doesn't recognize it anymore. So we're back to square one in the issue. In conclusion, I want to say that local government is a very contentious issue in Kiribati, and successful governments of Kiribati have had to tread very carefully in dealing with it. Hence the slow progress with the changes and a lack of clear pathway forward. At the core of government's hesitation to cut a clear way forward is its fear of interfering with the Lumane and the Maniema, institutions considered to be touchstones of Kiribati culture, which continue to maintain stability and peace in the community. There are also concerns that any change to these institutions, which are not carefully and properly considered, might result in irreversible changes which are detrimental in the long run to the country. And finally, and as far as the politicians are concerned, there is that political pragmatism about the political costs of bringing in change that may turn out to be unpopular with the people. All these factors contribute one way or the other to slow progress with the harmonization of traditional leadership and local governments in Kiribati. Thank you very much.